Hello, everyone, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness. And I'm really glad you're with me today. I'm glad that you're here today. Truly, I am. This is one of those conversations that is not going to be flashy. It's not going to be trendy. It's not a feel-good topic, that's for certain. And I'm most likely not going to have anything funny to say. But it is, I feel, completely necessary. I feel this to my core. My intuition is just kicking it hard, and I really felt that this message needed to be put out there. But we're going to have it calmly, and we're going to have it honestly, and with both feet planted firmly on the ground, okay? No fear nonsense. But here's the truth. We are just over 70 days away from the next possible federal government shutdown. Yeah, I went there. I did. 70 days. That's 10 weeks. And here's the scary part is those 10 weeks stretch straight through the holidays, you know? So Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year, that busy, expensive season where everyone is distracted and nobody wants to think about preparedness. And most people don't want to think about the government, you know? I get it. I seriously. So please understand that, I know the timing is horrible because we all desperately need a break, but this is not the time to sit back. It really isn't. People hear possible shutdown and they shrug. I've had people roll my eyes. I've had some very interesting comments. And they think, they've said it 100 times before. They'll figure it out. They'll work it out. I think we figured out last time that they didn't and they won't. We have become so desensitized about this. We have heard the same story over and over and over again. Look at, I'm rolling my own eyes, okay? And because of that, the urgency doesn't even register anymore. The importance of it doesn't register anymore. Nobody keeps a crappy budget quite like our government does, So it's just another shutdown. Who cares? They're always talking about it. But here's the thing that literally no one talks about. Desensitization is dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous, okay? Because that is what caused a lot of people to be in a very precarious situation over the last month and a half. It tricks us into thinking that these things just don't matter. They don't impact us. They're not part of our lives. Okay, fine. It lulls us into complacency because we assume the best or at least the status quo, and we ignore the risks all the time. But history kind of tells us a different story. So since 2016, just for some stats, the US has had multiple funding gaps and I think 3 full-on shutdowns, with the longest one in American history happening just this year because 2025 just keeps giving. During these shutdowns, a lot of different stuff happens, but the one thing that's for certain that happens is that families miss paychecks. Employees, federal workers, and contractors are forced to work without pay. I don't know about you, but I don't go to work if I'm not being paid. That's not part of the deal. SNAP benefits are at risk, but as they proved this last time, they'll just not pay it. We're good with that. Okay. Doesn't matter about the outcry. Doesn't matter about the hungry people. Doesn't matter about our most at-risk citizens, 1 million of them, which are veterans. So, yeah. There's always questions about whether or not the school lunch program will keep going. Small towns especially feel this because there are so many fewer opportunities for assistance in small towns. And yes, grocery store shelves start looking a little sparse no matter where you're at, because that's the first thing people do. And every single time without fail, people say the same heartbreaking stuff. Every single time. Why didn't anybody tell us this was possible or to get ready for it? Why didn't I take this seriously? I thought it wouldn't really happen. I know. Well, here we are. And I am telling you that you need to be ready, that you need to take it seriously, and that it can and will likely happen. I want you to be steady and I want you to be ready and I want you confident and secure no matter what Washington decides to do or not do. And really, I want you walking into the next 70 days with a plan that literally anybody watching this can make happen. Today, we're going to walk through a simple, inexpensive, step-by-step 70-day pantry plan that literally anybody can follow, okay? Week by week. That's it. Today, we're going to walk through a simple, inexpensive, step-by-step 70-day pantry plan that you can follow week by week. Literally anybody can do this. Anybody. Even with the holidays, even with a tight budget, even if you're busy or tired or overwhelmed or just trying to make ends meet, there's no panic here. There's no fear. There's no doom and gloom. We're just trying to show you that it can be done, to give you the roadmap to help you make your household more secure. Just real doable steps that will build a pantry capable of carrying you through a shutdown, an ice storm, job uncertainty, because that is huge right now also, sickness, or anything else this unpredictable world throws at us. Stick with me in this video, please. Okay? By the end, you're going to feel empowered. You really are. You're going to feel steady. You're going to see with your own eyes just how much security you can create in 70 days. 70 days with small, consistent steps. You've got this, and I'm here to help. Before we jump into the plan, real quick, I want to slow this down and talk about why preparing is so important, because understanding the why is what motivates a lot of people to actually follow through with it. Sometimes just knowing the why helps people understand that they can do it, they should do it, and it's so very important. Shutdowns aren't rare events anymore, and I don't think they're going to be rare events moving forward. They aren't even once in a decade surprises anymore, okay? They're, like I said, we're becoming desensitized to it because it's always on the horizon. They are regular occurrences. They are political tools, and we are political casualties. And because of that, everyday families like ours, okay, are the ones who get caught in the crossfire. Let's talk about what a shutdown really does. Paychecks stop. They just plain flat out stop, okay? Federal workers, contractors, and people dependent on federal income streams go without pay. And many don't have savings to cover even one missed paycheck. Can you imagine 42 or 3 days worth of missed paychecks? Programs pause or they tighten. So we can look at the SNAP issue that flat out paused. And then when they opened it up, they changed all the rules. Everyone is always concerned about whether school lunch programs will keep going. And any kind of services that are federally funded, stop. And in rural communities, sometimes that's literally your only option. So that really hurts the rural communities too. Food banks quickly become overwhelmed. And I saw that in my comment section because people that are at food banks are saying, don't tell people to go to food banks. You will never get me to stop telling people to go to food banks. If you need food, go to the food banks. If you are barely getting enough food to get you through a month, go to the food banks. You will never hear me stop saying that. That is why they are there, okay? You'll never hear me stop saying that. Every shutdown, though, food banks report serious spikes, massive spikes in demand. And we definitely saw that this last month. People who normally wouldn't need help suddenly do. They're suddenly worried about, I'm not getting paid. I have like a day's worth of food. This is exactly why we prepare, so that you are never caught like that. Grocery shelves definitely shift quickly, you know? I remember the first day of the shutdown, Phil and I did a quick trip to Walmart. We had to pick up coffee creamer and yogurt, and I forget something else. We were picking up something for somebody else. But in line, the people in front of us and the people behind us, each of them had a case of ramen and a bunch of tuna and other, things like that that were an odd quantity for what you normally see, because they caught the fact that things were shut down. They caught the fact that SNAP benefits were not going to be paid out, And so they immediately went and bought a bunch of that stuff. The lady in front of us actually made the comment that everything in the cart was going to a local food pantry. So when that happens, the shelves empty. And they don't have backup most of the time in the back room. So when people panic buy, which they absolutely do all the time, okay, canned goods, rice, pasta, milk alternatives, proteins, and kid-friendly foods disappear first. I can testify to this. I have seen it. If you've lived through any of the big shortages of the last few years, because, they just keep coming, you know exactly what that looks like. Exactly what it looks like. So you go in to get your normal, inexpensive, ramen, and the shelf is empty because other people went through and literally cleared the shelves because they're panic buying, or they're buying to give to the food pantries. I get the panic buying is not good. The food pantry thing is good, but it's one of the things you deal with. A shutdown during the holidays is worse. So as we prepare for the holidays, and the fact that this is going to remain something that people talk about, and it's going to loom over our heads, this is like the worst possible timing, but it's Washington. Budgets are already tight. So even though, pardon me, even though it's 70 days away, the holidays are all through this. There's Thanksgiving, and there's Christmas or Hanukkah, and there's New Year's, and people spend money a lot during that time. Even when they don't have a lot of money, they will spend or reallocate funds just to celebrate those holidays. I know. Okay, but budgets are already tight. And so this is like the worst kind of time for this to happen. Stores are focused on the holidays and not food. That's for sure. Not the staples. Families travel during the holidays, because I still will stand by the fact that the government reopened because of the airline industry and not feeding people. People are distracted because it's the holidays, okay? And seasonal workers rely on income that quite honestly may suddenly stop. And so you have to, understand that with all of that flying at you, you're also supposed to turn on the windshield wipers of life and focus on getting prepared, because they might unleash this chaos on us again. And here's the part that nobody likes to hear about, okay? By the time the news starts shouting about shelves emptying, yeah, it's already too late. It's already too late to start preparing when you're seeing it on the news that the shelves are empty. And I rarely say that it's too late to start. You can start anytime, but you should not start during the emergency. Preparedness isn't something you do when the chaos arrives. It's something you do before it arrives, so that you don't have to be a participant in the chaos. Right now, today, we have a window, a 70-day window, my friends. It's a gift of time, and it's a chance to get ahead. And I hope that you will join me in making this happen. I hope that you take it as seriously as I'm presenting it. How are we going to use the next 70 days? We're going to break this down. So let's dig into the 70-day preparedness pantry plan, okay? It's a simple 10-week roadmap that literally anyone can follow. Do I need to say that more? Literally anybody can do this, okay? So let's dig into the 70-day prepared pantry plan, okay? This is a simple 10-week roadmap that anyone can follow. I mean, anyone at all. There are a million excuses. You can do it. If you want to, you can do it. I don't care if you're prepping with $5 a week or 20 or 50, doesn't matter. This plan scales. That's what's important about it, okay? These steps work for literally all budgets and all family sizes. I cannot implore enough how much I think everybody needs to get on this. Each week will build on the one before it. And by the end of 70 days, you will have a steady, a functional, affordable pantry cushion that can carry your family through 30 to 45 days of uncertainty. So that's in addition to your normal shopping, okay? An additional 30 to 45 days of uncertainty can be covered if you follow this plan. You've got this. I know you can. So week one is, yes, the pantry audit, okay? So your task to do, I have to stop doing that. Your task to do this week, okay, is to do a pantry audit. To go through your cabinets, your freezer, your refrigerator, your cubbies, wherever you have anything edible, go through it and write down what you've got. It won't take that long. It really won't. What you're going to buy is cheap, simple, and practical. That's the way we're going, okay? So 1 to 2 bags of rice, 1 bag of oats or 1 container of oats, 2 cans of vegetables. That's how inexpensive that is, okay? This is your base layer for your new preparedness pantry. These foods are filling, they're versatile, and ridiculously budget friendly. So 1 to 2 bags of rice, a bag of oats, and a couple of cans of vegetables, your choice. You need to make sure that you do that audit. It's probably one of the most important parts of your base layer. It gives you your baseline where you're starting. Look at what you've already got so that you build smart, not blindly. Blindly leads to wasting money. Week number 2, slightly more flavorful, okay? Pasta, sauce, carbs. Pasta is one of the cheapest meals on the planet. You can feed a family of 4 for under $3, seriously. So you want to buy 2 to 4 pounds of pasta. See how much the price is, see what you can get. I don't care what shape it is, it's pasta. Grab some pasta sauce or just canned tomatoes. You can find those on sale all the time. Add a box or 2 of instant potatoes for giggles because they come in handy for a lot of different stuff. This week, that right there for your budget creates fast family meals for your family or yourself that you'll actually eat. Now, obviously, I have to put in this disclaimer. If you don't eat anything I list, don't stock it. If nobody in your house eats anything that I list, don't stock it, okay? Week number 3. Look at that's how we're already into week number 3. Week number 3 is protein. Yeah. It's canned proteins specifically. So this is where your pantry becomes powerful. It starts becoming powerful when you get the protein in there, the shelf-stable protein. Stock canned chicken, tuna, Spam, commercially canned chili, shelf-stable proteins, whatever kind that your budget will allow you to stock. They have beef. They have shredded beef. They have ground beef. They have shredded pork. They have chicken. They have, tuna. They have sardines. They have mackerel. All salmon. All of that stuff in cans. That is your shelf-stable protein sources, okay? So for week 3, focus your prepper pantry budget on those items. When the budget tightens, protein disappears first. Literally, gone. And right now, not canned is crazy expensive. So you really want to try to get the most bang for your buck, get it now while it's cheaper. Shop the sales, look at the prices, figure out what you can afford, get what you can get, okay? And that's all you got to do for week 3. Now, week 4 is a little more holly jolly, okay? Holiday sales are your best friend right now because this is the time of year. So you want to grab your flour, your sugar, your oil, your shortening, your evaporated milk, your powdered milk, and your yeast. These items, number one, are cheap. They're crazy cheap. They're versatile. The amount of things that you can create with just those ingredients is mind-boggling. And they're crucial for stretching meals. And that's what we're going to be doing if anything shuts down again. We're going to be finding ways to stretch those meals, okay? So you're going to go after those things for week 4. Week 5, we're going to do a canned goods stock up because the canned goods are on sale. And you want to take a look at them. You want to stock up on what you eat that's on sale or is affordable to be able to stock up on, with your budget for this week. This is really a big one, the canned goods. It really is. Holiday canned goods sales are probably some of the best prices that you will see all year long. And so there's something that you want to pay attention to. Grab 10 to 15 cans if you can. Beans, veggies, fruit, tomatoes. Those are workhorses in your pantry. They become your shutdown cushion. They become your emergency cushion. And you will never regret having them in rotation in your pantry. We're already into week 6. So we're halfway done. It's a beautiful thing. You are building up a beautiful pantry and you're rocking it. It's doable and it's not stressful to do it on top of the normal stress that happens this time of year, okay? But week number 6 is more of your shelf-stable kind of comfort meals, the things that just make me feel kind of good. I was talking to a friend about this today, and it's huge. I haven't had au gratin potatoes, and I can't tell you how long. And straight up, my friends, the only au gratin potatoes I have ever been successful in making are Betty Crocker out of the box, or comparable shelf, the off-brand ones. Those are the easiest to make. They're inexpensive. They come in different flavors. And oh my gosh, they're good. You add a little bit of browned up ground beef with that, and it's a meal, literally, But these are your kind of comfort meals, your staples for those. So stuffing, instant potatoes, gravy packets if you don't make your own, box mixes, like I said. So your hamburger helper if you want, or your, uh, scalloped potatoes, that kind of thing. Any of those things, those Knorr rice dishes or rice-a-roni or, any of that stuff. Those are shelf-stable comfort meals for a lot of people. And I get it. And that's what we're focusing on. I'm not your doctor, okay? Yes, I'd prefer that you learn to make your own. We'll get there. But if you don't make your own, then these are great. Absolutely great and very affordable. They're all inexpensive, even though they're more expensive than they used to be. They're all super easy to prepare. Like even your, preteens can do it. And all are great morale boosters because when it's something familiar and it's something that tastes good and fills your belly, your morale is automatically going to go up. And when the chaos is at its height, you need every little tool that you can get, They help. Week number 7 is your freezer booster week. Doesn't matter what size freezer you got, you can make this happen, okay? So before the big holidays hit, you want to stock up on butter because butter's going on sale. So you want to stock up on some butter, frozen vegetables. If you don't make your own bread, there's no shame in getting some frozen bread, okay? And frozen fruits because, oh my gosh, they're so good. Don't forget about sale-priced meats in addition to that. So as you're winging through the freezer section, okay, swing by the manager specials and see if they have any and if it's anything that you eat that you can toss into the freezer. Those are great. They're manager specials because they cannot sit on the shelf in the condition that they are for another day or two. So you snag them up, snag them up at, half-ish price and go home and put them in the freezer. And you have stopped the clock and you have great meat, great protein for much less than what you would pay at full price. Organize your freezer so nothing gets lost. That's your task in addition to shopping, okay? Because just grabbing it and tossing it in the freezer is great, but I have seen way too many freezers where people just keep tossing and piling and you don't even know what's on the bottom. You've wasted a whole bunch of money. Week number 8, we're going to swing back around to the proteins, but we're going to go super cheap because nobody's got money for this stuff, okay? This is the time when I'm going to say beans, lentils, canned soups even, okay, are cheap. Canned beans are a great source of protein. If you don't want the dry beans, get the canned beans. If you can cook the dry beans or want to learn to cook the dry beans, that's fantastic. You can totally do this. It just takes a little bit of forethought. Beans and lentils are great. This is the point where you're going to build affordable protein reserves. Now, I had people say that after I mentioned it last time that they tried mixing in lentils with their ground beef for like their taco meat or their meatloaf, and nobody knew. And it was great. I'm not kidding. This will stretch your meals like nothing you've ever seen. And it's technically cheaper and better for you than crackers or oats or whatever, bread product you're mixing in. It's just a great way to do it, and you increase the protein. Protein makes you fuller longer. That's a good thing, okay? So definitely look at building those affordable protein reserves because they're important when you're looking at a prepared pantry. They're important when money is low. Now we're going to jump into week 9. We're getting near the end. Yes, we are. So thanks for bearing with me. I greatly appreciate it. But week 9 is the stuff that you need that you don't eat. Yes, toilet paper, toothpaste, dish soap, trash bags, okay? Shutdowns affect a lot more than just food, and your home needs supplies too. These are things that help your home and your body, your people function better. Hygiene is important, so all of those things are necessary. If you haven't drilled down already, bar soap lasts a lot longer than body wash, okay? No, it's not all frou-frou most of the time, and that's fine. It's soap, okay? We don't need all the other stuff. But when you're looking at being prepared, go for the thing that's going to last you the longest. Yes, everybody's used to body wash, okay? Grab some bar soap. They'll learn to like it because it's a shower, and that's what matters. Week number 10. This is going to be your buffer week, okay? It's your final buffer week for building your 70-day prepared pantry. Is literally the heart week. It really is. You want to stock those things that make you feel human, You want to stock your coffee because, man, that's expensive. You want to stock your tea or your hot chocolate. You want to stock some snacks, or learn to make some. Somebody in a Facebook group had a great post because they were trying to reduce the amount of convenience foods in the household, but snacks were becoming an issue and the fam wasn't totally on board, And so there was a question about, can you pre-pop popcorn and put it into bags and, have it last a few days? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You won't find a cheaper snack. You absolutely won't. Favorite comfort foods. So if macaroni and cheese is a favorite comfort food, grab a couple extra, whatever that little comfort food is that just makes you feel human. It's a great week to add it in. Batteries are important. Check out what you have around the house that you need batteries for going into the new year because, and if at all humanly possible, a little extra cash, you know, 10, 20, 50 bucks, small bills tucked away where nobody's going to mess with it. And it's there in case of an emergency, in case of a shutdown, This is literally your mental health safety net, literally this week. The stuff that you pick up this week. So whether that's some Brock's butterscotch candies, or, or your favorite coffee creamer, or whatever. That's the week to get a little extra and to stock up. Oh, friends, I want to pause and speak to you from the heart for a minute. Not something I do a lot of. Preparedness is not panic. It's absolutely not panic. It's not fear. It's not preparing for the end of the world as we know it. Preparedness is literally love. Literally. Love for your family, love for stability, love for peace of mind, even love for community. It's saying that I'm not going to wait until the shelves are empty to act. I'm not going to leave my household vulnerable. I am not going to depend on chaos to tell me when to prepare. Never do that. Because you and your household, you deserve stability. You deserve security. And you deserve the confidence that comes with being ready for these kinds of crazy disruptions. So here we are, 70 days. The possibility, I think a strong possibility of another shutdown on the horizon. Holiday distractions everywhere, literally everywhere. Most people aren't going to prepare. It just breaks my heart. Most people are not going to prepare, including the ones that are the most vulnerable, are not going to do it. Most people aren't going to take it seriously. They will roll their eyes. They will shrug it off. There's nothing I can do about it. No, there is. There absolutely is. Most people are going to wait and hope that everything works out. I just don't know how people do that. I don't know how. And we saw so much of it over the course of the last, month and a half. I don't know how it's done like that. But no, you aren't most people. You're not, because you're here. You're paying attention. You're preparing with intention. And that's important, not panic. Okay. You're taking the steps to safeguard you, your home, and your loved ones. Shutdown fatigue is real. I don't know about you, but I am freaking tired of it, okay? But it doesn't have to paralyze us. It should never paralyze us. You can choose to act. You can choose to be ready. At the end of the day, the choice is up to you, because there's literally nobody that can't do this. And so now I'm going to wing back around real quick to say that if your budget is that tight, okay, and I get it, been there, done that, okay, that you don't have $5 to buy anything extra, then I am begging you to find your local food pantries. Most food pantries will have somebody that can help you get there if you do not drive, if you do not have transportation. Most churches will have somebody who can help you get there if you don't drive and you don't have transportation. I am begging you that over the course of the next 70 days, that you visit at least 3 food pantries, and off of this list, stock up those items. If you don't use the rest of it, and you won't use the rest of it, by golly, donate it back to the food pantry, okay? Don't hoard it, because if you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything. You won't. You won't. But if you are not going to eat something that they give you, give it back to them. They're fine with that, actually, okay? Because somebody else will eat it. But if you can get your rice, your beans, your instant potatoes, your shelf-stable milk, a few cans of protein from the food banks, and you cannot literally afford to rob Peter, to pay Paul, to do anything else as far as stocking a pantry, go to the food pantries. This is so wildly important, because it's better to do it now when everybody's in a giving mood, right? Because the holidays are when everybody feels better about themselves and shovels a whole bunch of food towards the pantries. It's a year-long constant effort, but right now is when they might have a little bit more than usual. Please, if you cannot find a way financially to do it, find a way to get to the food banks. Find a way to utilize the pantries in your area and find a way to get there. Don't tell me there's not a way. So if you stuck with me throughout the entire thing, thank you, because I really needed to get this off my heart. I needed to get this out, and I appreciate you being here. So, what is the first thing that you're adding to your pantry this week off of the list that I just gave you? Lisa, I have to go back and listen to the video and write down what's on week 1. No, you don't, because I have a free download in the description box below the video. If you're watching me on TV, please get on your phone, get on your computer, your tablet, whatever, and download that free download. And you can use that as your roadmap. It's everything that I talked about. And you can use that if you're going to the food pantries to, plan on what you need to stock up on so that your regular grocery budget can maybe get some of the other things that you can't get there. It's there for you to use. I hope that you download it. I hope that you share this with people that you know suffered during the last 45-day issue, I hope that you implore to them how necessary it is to prepare, because the likelihood of the next one is very probable. And while you can't guarantee it one way or the other, what's the saying? Better safe than sorry. None of it will go to waste. You just rotate it through your normal food. I hope that you tell me what you're going to get this week after you download the free download. And the comment section is always a wealth of information, okay? So if you're kind of, paralyzed, locked up because of everything, stop, breathe, read the comment section. We learn from each other. I learn from you guys all the time. We support each other because that's what decent human beings do. And we prepare together because you're not in this alone. You are not in this alone at all. As always, my friends, a stock pantry is literally the best insurance you can buy. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be safe. And until next time, keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.